Okay, I'm back. I had a nice conversation with a passerby. Anyway, my grievances, our grievances, your grievances, my grievances. So taxation without representation is unacceptable. It's un-USA. It's what our founding was about. And here we have it again. I'm not the only one whose vote did not go counted last election, and this is just unacceptable. But here is my declaration. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature entitle them. Separate and equal station to which the laws of nature entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of the U.S. citizens requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We, the people, hold these truths to be self-evident, that all U.S. citizens are equal, that we are endowed by our citizenship with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, our government is instituted from the people, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed people. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that the people are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and violations pursuing invariably the same object plans a design to reduce them, the people, under absolute despotism or tyranny, it is our right, it is our duty to throw off such a government and to provide new guards for our future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these U.S. citizens, especially the women people, but also the people. And such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter our former systems of government. Our original Declaration of Independence begs me to speak in this way. The history of the past and present federal and state U.S. Politicians and appointed officials is a history of repeated injury and violations, all having a direct object and indirect object, the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the people, especially the women citizens. To prove this, let facts be submitted to the candid world. Our voting system is corrupt. U.S. citizen votes go uncounted. I am one of them. Therefore, we do not have a country if the elections are rigged. We have a takeover by the Democrats and Republicans leading to a dictatorship. Abolish the manipulative and fraudulent system called registering to vote. Too many fake names, fake addresses, and there's no checks and balance on that list. Our citizens have suffered too many injustices as greedy politicians steal elections and stay in office far too long by changing or throwing out votes for decades upon decades, rigging the elections. Shame on the poll workers for not informing voters how to vote properly and who is eligible to be voted for in that election. Deception at the polls. Shame on you. Count all U.S. citizens' votes. Shame on you for changing or throwing out votes via the vote tally machines and software where there's no transparency on what the software does to the U.S. citizen votes or any votes. Shame on you. All U.S. citizens who are 18 years of age or older have the right to vote as long as they are not felons, except some states allow felons to vote as well. All election divisions have the obligation to count each vote truthfully, honestly, with integrity. Vote counting violations have to stop. Shame on you. And the Department of Motor Vehicles automatic registering to vote sign-up system, the software records names of non-U.S. citizens who get to vote and get their names on the voter registration list via getting their driver's license. This is unacceptable. Also, there's some sort of kickback that happens and gets paid back to the election division from the Department of Motor Vehicles. We need that canceled as well. Shame on you. Not informing the people in a timely manner of the issues that will be voted on is unacceptable, irresponsible, and clearly indicates how much cheating goes on because most of the people I know are always ill-informed about the extra items needed to be voted on at any election, other than the popular people running for office. But even their names of eligible candidates are hidden away at polling stations. Our current election division in most states has done a lousy job of informing the people of the issues to be voted on. Shame on you. You don't want us to vote. You don't care about our opinion. You just want bodies coming in and voting. Making frivolous rules and regulations to keep other parties out of elections and pretending to have extra rules and regulations on candidates running for offices or parties running for office is misguided and, in some cases, unconstitutional. Shame on you. Democrats and Republicans do not run our country, the people do. Organizing a Democrat and Republican primary and telling citizens they cannot vote is unconstitutional. When they use tax money and resources from the people to hold their primary elections, to decide who will be their party's top candidate for different offices. This is thievery of public funds and unacceptable. Shame on you. Lock them up. Blocking or making frivolous regulations regarding who can be considered a candidate for a particular office, whether it's local or federal or state, is unconstitutional, especially regarding religion and religious belief, all voices, all citizen voices, you need to be acknowledged. We are not a Christian-only country. Shame on you. The media is biased and quite possibly bought by the Democrats and Republicans repeatedly. They refuse to talk about and inform the public about other political parties or non-partisan candidates. Some media is so biased it will only focus on one political party. To utilize such an unjust system to communicate with the people is unacceptable. We need truthful information about all the candidates and the issues, not cherry picking. We need a national TV and radio channel, and we need voter information packages sent out to each adult U.S. citizen 2 months before an election so we know what we're voting on. And especially the Republicans. Yes, we have Republican form of government currently. Yes. But that does not give you the right to pick and choose or whose votes you're going to count. Shame on you. Again, cherry picking is unacceptable. Taxation without representation is un-US. We pay taxes every day. And the 15th and the 19th Amendment are not just about letting people vote. It's about actually counting the votes. And sadly, I think this is where a lot of votes go uncounted. We have, again, these people who think it's a Republican form of government and that means they can pick and choose whose votes get counted. Unacceptable. All women's voices need to be heard too, regardless of religion. That means our votes need to be counted, as we are an adult U.S. citizen. The voting in the U.S. is by citizenship, not by head of household. Since it seems that our current form of government constantly leads to dictatorship, a tyrant and oppression of the people and their voices, no matter how many amendments we add, it's time to look to new answers, new ways of governance. No longer do we need a House of Representatives. And also, on the state level, we don't need a state legislature. They just like to look busy and get a paycheck and get nothing done. We can spend our money in better ways. The Senate is enough on the federal and state level. The people can and will represent themselves, because over and over again, it's been proven. The Democrats and Republicans are not representing the people. They're representing all their lobbyists. It's time for change. It's time the people have their say. It's time a country of the people, by the people, is for the people. War spending is gotten too high and not enough infrastructure spending, and spending on other countries sponsor all sorts of activities is unacceptable. That money needs to be spent on the U.S. people. When I say war spending, I also mean NSA, CIA, FBI. That also means U.S. Marshals. That also means all the police forces. And then we have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard. The list goes on. We seem to have an endless supply of money for war. And nothing for the rest. I mean, I am standing in the Capitol in front of the Supreme Court building, and there's broken pavement, there's grass that's missing, I'm sorry. You know, we seem to think that we're this great country, but we don't even take care of our own country, our own people. It's time to go back to how we were formed when we were a neutral country and we focused on ourselves. This was before World War I, before our military became missionaries for the Zionists. So we need to go back to that. It's what our founding fathers had organized. Then, women's voices and issues need to be addressed by women, not by men. We've experienced enough of what men think women should be experiencing in life without them technically even probably asking their wives what they're really experiencing. So this is now, I guess, my woman birth family plan, and we need to establish this. General welfare is for when something happens and you need support from someplace, so you turn to your government. That's not for when you're pregnant and raising a child for 20 years. That's a career choice. So general welfare is for infrastructure, and when you're in trouble, if something's gone wrong health-wise or something, and you need support. That's what general welfare is for. So my division that we need to establish is a woman's birth family government division called domestic tranquility, with all the same benefits and trainings possible like the National Guard, but for domestic tranquility. A mother's league. We will not be overlooked anymore. You, Democrats and Republicans and Zionists, have done it again, and for the last time. We, the people, hold you responsible for the injustices and violations listed above. Not taking care of your women folk is part of that, because we're actually not your women folk. We are U.S. citizens, adults, and that hierarchy thing is no longer useful in our current society. So, in every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned and redressed in the most humblest of terms. Our petitions have been answered by only by repeated injury and lack of being heard. A group of peoples whose character is thus marked by every act which has defined a tyrant is unfit to be rulers of a free people. I myself and others represent the people of the United States, solemnly publish and declare that these United States are, and of right, ought to be free and independent from our current oppressors, the Democrats and Republicans and their Zionist agenda. The Constitution clearly states we are to separate religious activities and our government. And yet, the Democrats and Republicans have consistently and repeatedly passed laws to include the word God and promises allegiance, promises of obligation, and to force religious law onto the rest of the free people. Not anymore. Since the USA is a government and not a religious organization, we need to remove the word God and any reference to any deity or imaginary friend from all documents, oaths, and all buildings, starting today. Not anymore. The Democrats and Republicans have consistently included the United States into wars and conflicts of religious nature. Not only that, but they have specifically looked for weakened areas around the planet where civil wars are already taking place. And try to move in and spread Christianity in those regions through the use of the U.S. military, my tax money, and this is unacceptable. I declare, as a people, it is my duty to declare a national emergency, and we need to form a committee to create a new government to constitute the promise of our country of free people, of a country whose voices are heard. No more tyrants, no more kings. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of civil rights, of citizen right to address our government with regresses of grievances, I pledge to you all my life, my fortune, and my honor. I release this declaration today on Women Equality Day address on August 26, 2025, Common Era, to the press and to the public. Thank you for your attention and support. Let freedom ring for all U.S. citizens. Okay, so that is it. I will be sending this off to several or all government agencies because it is enough. It is enough. I'm paying taxes. My voice is not being heard. Shame on the USA.